Good to Great is a great name for a book, but Good to Crap probably has more valuable currency for you. After having represented medical groups for many decades, it's become strikingly clear that what distinguishes the most successful groups, what I call the strategic groups, from the great majority of the mediocre. Over the past 15 years, the tool that I'm going to discuss, I call it the 4 circles, has been used by medical groups to both rank themselves from the most reactive to the most strategic, and then to pull themselves out of the quagmire of their own making. I cover the elements of the tool on the blog at weispc.com. Go to that website, navigate to the blog, and search for how to use the 4 circles, and you'll find the tool. But for now, I'd like to quickly walk you through the elements found in groups existing at each stage, from the reactive group to the group in equilibrium to the focus group, and at the most evolved, the strategic group. A medical group at the reactive level exhibits many of the following characteristics. It exists only as a matter of convenience to further each of its individual physicians' goals. It has little, if any, organizational structure beyond the rudiments required by law, and even those formalities are rarely followed. The relationship among its members may or may not be civil, but the mindset is definitely what's in it for me, not what's in it for us. The group is entirely reactive to its circumstances in respect of the hospital, competition, referral sources, and the medical staff of the hospital. Its sole purpose for existence is to provide services, generally at a hospital. If that hospital no longer wanted to obtain those services from it, it would have no more reason to exist. Their services are completely commoditized. There is virtually nothing that distinguishes their services from any other group of providers within their specialty. The group at the next level, the equilibrium level, is slightly more evolved. It exhibits many of the following characteristics. It exists primarily to further each of its individual physicians' goals, although there is some understanding that they must band together as a group in order to compete. In essence, it's a club, with members sharing at least one common goal, keeping others out. The group follows the minimum required formalities to protect its structure from legal attack. The group members have more or less civil relationships among themselves. They understand to a certain degree that fulfilling their individual objectives requires that they align themselves with others. The group engages in a low level of planning as to its very short-term future, chiefly in respect of scheduling matters. For the most part, it's reactive to all circumstances outside of its easily accomplishable immediate concerns. Its sole purpose for existence is to provide services at a hospital. If the hospital no longer wants those services from it, well, it would still have no reason to exist. Their services are commoditized. There's little that distinguishes their services from those of any other group of providers within the same specialty. A group at the focused level exhibits many of the following characteristics. It exists to further the group's immediate and midterm goals, although group members are also free to pursue their independent goals outside of the group's business structure. The group follows the required formalities to protect its structure from legal attack. The group members have good relationships among themselves, understanding that fulfilling their individual objectives requires that they align themselves with others. The group engages in a high level of planning as to its short and medium-term future, chiefly in respect of scheduling matters. However, it remains chiefly reactive to all circumstances outside of its easily accomplishable immediate concerns. Its chief purpose for existence is to provide services generally at a single hospital. If the hospital no longer wanted to obtain those services from it, again, no reason to exist, as its outside work is not sufficient to enable it to remain in business. Their services are commoditized. There's little that distinguishes their services from any other group of providers within that specialty. And last, a group at the strategic level, the most evolved level, exhibits many of the following characteristics. It exists to further the group's long-term goals. The group follows the required formalities to protect its structure from legal attack. The group members have well-developed, positive relationships among themselves, understanding that they will maximize their long-term interests by maximizing the group's long-term interests. The group engages in a high level of planning as to its short, medium, and long-term future. Although it remains flexible in order to deal with the inevitable surprise, it actively strategizes and deploys tactics to influence its future. Its chief purpose for existence is to develop its business for the profit of its owner-physicians, and as such, does not see its existence as necessarily tied to the existence of its relationship at any particular facility. The way that their services are delivered is unique, although it may well be that there are many other providers of their specialty services in the area. The overall combination of the way that the group delivers those services and the experience that they provide to the facilities, to other members of the medical staff, to their patients, to their referral sources, and to the community at large, has created an experience monopoly that competitors, even if they understood what was being provided, would not be able to duplicate. Where does your group fall on the continuum? Is it a reactive group, a group in equilibrium, a focus group, or a strategic group? Is that where you actually want to be?